Teddy Roosevelt, you voted in Barack. You're guilty conscious, you want Captain Kirk, why'd you vote in Picard?
Yeah.
Whoops. A little too personal for some people. I got to go to PAX East earlier this year, the Penny Arcade Expo, the most mellow game con imaginable. It was so fantastic because it's just a bunch of guys like their mid-20s or 30s roaming around. The whole hallway was packed and quiet, and no one was screaming, "Don't stop, believe it." It was fantastic. And everyone's just kind of like waving a Pokewalker. A Pokewalker, by the way, is pretty much gaydar for geeks. Someone's here. You want to go off? You want to go off the drink? All right, let's go off into a corner. Don't you can touch. Don't let them touch. It's gay if they touch. It's gay if they touch. What happened? Nothing. We're moving on. But it's fantastic. It's the ultimate pinnacle of Japanese engineering. They took something addictive and made it physically active. You're playing a video game, but you're getting thinner. America's engineering was taking them and duct taping them to ceiling fans and Little League soccer players. Okay, I run the track and field back in my hometown when we ran the junior high. I have an army of Butterfrees right now. One day you're gonna look over New Jersey, it's just gonna be the downpour of like Mothra's Return. It will be terrifying, but it'll be fantastic. See, America will not get thin no matter what. Japan's like, we've got to find a way to make America thin. We gave them the Wii. We gave them Dance Dance Revolution. Nice try, America. We have a bacon and cheese sandwich between two fried chicken breasts. That's the bread. That's the bread. No one makes us thin. We tried it already. Screw you, Japan. We're fat and we love it. You can't make us thin. Oh, how scary was that? Yeah, I got scared too, but we're back now in a nice, calm, warm place. Considering this an hour ago, we were sitting up here talking about Lovecraft. Everyone loves reading about Lovecraft. Aliens that will bone you. Having a great time with that. One of the fan bases I gotta talk about, the new cosplague, is Axis Powers Italia. If you have not been introduced, by the way, I hope you guys were watching Poop Cloud. Get them. Axis Powers Italia, manga that tried to be petitioned into an anime. Axis Powers Italia. Japan has this thing where if we can't have sex with it, we'll make it so we can. They took all the world nations from World War II and anthropomorphized, they personified them, they made them into people. But rather than being a statement on like political satire or a statement of irony, it's the most blatant racism you will ever see. It's very clear. Like, Germany is just yelling, pounding his fist everywhere. He's trying to like take in Poland from behind, and like Greece is unconscious half the time. It's just true to life, and that's what's terrifying. But that's not what the fandom, the Italia fandom, loves it for. The fandom loves it because their belief is that all the characters are making out behind the scenes, which is fantastic because they don't hint at it, they don't show you, they don't even talk about it. Because it's not there, they're just going to project their own political agenda into it and propagate it. That's the whole reason that it exists. It's like the way Sarah Palin reads the Bill of Rights. When you get that wrong, it's like she is reading the Book of Revelations like it's the Kyoto Protocol. They're just reading it wrong. They're doing it wrong. I'm sorry. Rent left Broadway. Your time is done. Move on with your lives. For the three people who clapped, get them. See, we need to do Hitalia to something more domestic. We need to convert Hitalia to the U.S. Senate. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see all the states anthropomorphized. But I understand states are very big, but so are countries. I'd like to see Texas, California, and New York to be in a constant three-way strangle over who represents America the most. Me, avocado and everything. Shut up, California. Wyoming never comes to the meetings, and nobody notices. Nobody can tell the Dakotas apart. They just kind of sit in the corner, not really say too much. North Carolina, South Carolina, they share a desk, but they can't really keep their crap together. No one really cares about that anyway. No one tells Massachusetts where the meetings are, because they just kind of get stuck driving through Connecticut. West Virginia, it's just kind of like this little tumor parrot sitting on Virginia's shoulder. Whatever he said, whatever he said, whatever he said. No one talks to New Jersey. Florida is New York's retired, bitter old grandfather who won't come to the meetings because they're not air-conditioned. And Louisiana's sitting there covered in garbage, covered in tar, just weeping in the corner. Why won't anyone help me? Why don't you care? New Jersey's like, welcome to my world. Iowa, what? Corn! And nothing. Just corn. Sometimes soy. Corn! Let yourself scream corn continuously. So, I finally stopped reading the Bleach manga. I'm sorry, I think that bigger series that just go on and on forever and ever, like Bleach and Naruto, I think there are two series. I like watching the Naruto anime for the filler arcs, because they're stories that get completed. I like reading the manga, because it's like an actual story, and then just these little side projects that they make, like little fanfics, like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series. It's just more fun to look at it that way. But I stopped reading Bleach. Now, it wasn't the explosions, it wasn't the ghosts. I couldn't suspend my disbelief any further. And here's why. Orihime. You're gonna tell me that a redhead with a double D cup is Japanese? Nice try. But when you try to set up Bleach, when you try to have a Bleach enthusiast tell you about it, it sounds like a 4-year-old after snorting a pixie stick. Okay, so these guys, and they have swords, and they're holding swords, and the other guys, and they have masks, but then the guys with masks, they get swords, and the guys with swords, they make masks, and one guy, he makes a mask out of a sword, another guy, he makes a sword out of a mask, and it's sword explosion! That is Bleach. Sword explosion. Some close-ups, some dots, a 2-page spread of like white and some black lines, and then a new character steps on. Reading Bleach is like playing old arcade Street Fighter 2, and every time you beat your friend, he runs off to his car, grabs 2 more quarters. All right, you and me, Blanca, you and me, Blanca. A new opponent has appeared. Ah! What? I have to beat you. You can't! Fine, all right. A new opponent has, come on, Steve! Really now? Move on with yourself. But just to try to explain Bleach, it's like the weirdest afterlife ever. Like, you couldn't pitch the Bleach world as a religion. So when you die, no matter whether you've been good or bad in life, you are visited by a spirit in a black robe who has a sword, and he cuts you? No, man, he just bonks you on the head with it. And then you go to the afterlife. You go to heaven? No, man, 15th century ghetto in Japan. Tokyo in like the 15th century, where you live in a golden house. You are dirt poor, dude! That's all you do, and you live with your ancestors, foster family ghosts. And you kind of just sit there and be poor. But across the giant alabaster wall, there's a society of people who watch over you, and they protect you. They want you dead! They hate you, bro! But they'll never actually do anything about it because they're too busy with sword explosion. It's like Valhalla without the benefits. And you can die, too! The guys can stab you, you die. Then what happens? You know what a crossover I'm looking forward to? Death Note, Ghostbusters. Write people's name in the book, kill people, throw me fruit. There he is! That's all I'm waiting for. Is that wrong that my expectations are that low?